Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back to talk some New York Jets football. Oh, am I excited for this game? Because the Jets can't mess anything up. They have themselves locked in to the number 2 overall pick. No matter what happens, they can't move up, they can't move down. This is Adam Gase's last game as a head coach of the New York Jets. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we can root for a win finally. I'm excited for that. And honestly, I think the Jets can win this game. And I think that they end this season on a 3-game win streak. Wouldn't that be something? After starting 0-13, ending this season on a 3-game win streak. The NFL is so weird, and this season is so weird. I'm kind of excited that it's over, kind of sad at the same time. Like, I really would have liked it to be a memorable season and something that we could have been proud of. But unfortunately, pretty much from the beginning, things went completely wrong. In week 1 in Buffalo, the New York Jets just looked absolutely atrocious. They lost by only 10 points. I believe it was 27-17, but that game was so much uglier than a 27-17 type of performance. And from there, it just completely unraveled. Week 2 against San Francisco, first play of the game was an 80-yard touchdown where I think it was Raheem Mostert was just untouched the entire way. And then the wheels fell off from there. Couldn't beat the Broncos in week 4 with their third-string starting quarterback in the game. Couldn't beat the Chargers, who were trying to self-destruct. Couldn't beat the Bills at home in a game they probably should have won. It's crazy to see how much damage Adam Gase has done, which is kind of, I guess, the point of the conversation that I wanted to go today. And then we'll go to the chat and talk about whatever you guys want to talk to. You could throw some stuff in the chat, send me a super chat if you want. But to me, the biggest takeaway isn't necessarily what happens on the field today. It's more that this is the end of the Adam Gase era, an era that pretty much nobody wanted to see. The Jets hired Adam Gase in January of 2019. I was not happy about that hire, as most Jets fans were also not happy about that hire. And the main reason was because we thought he was fraudulent. And what he was able to do in Miami, or not able to do in Miami, I think should have probably set things up for why, like, you don't hire this guy. He had like the 27th ranked offense in Miami with Ryan Tannehill. And then the Jets were like, okay, we want our young 21-year-old quarterback to be developed by this guy who has never developed a young quarterback in his life, who rode the coattails of Peyton Manning, parlayed that into an offensive coordinator job with Chicago, somehow got a head coaching gig after an okay performance from Jay Cutler in Chicago. And the rest is history. It's absolutely nuts to see that, one, he got this job, that he started out, they were 1-7 and then went 6-2 down the stretch, and somehow retained his job for a second year and then just absolutely crapped the bed in year 2. It's truly unbelievable. It's unbelievable what transpired. And honestly, I think completely ruined the potential of having a franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold. It looked like he took a step forward from year 1 to year 2. And then this year just completely fell off the wheels. The wheels completely fell off, I guess I should say. It's been bad. And last year, you look at this one stat Michael Nania threw out there today. He was talking about how Sam Darnold was in a clean pocket this year versus last year. Last year, he was 8th in adjusted completion percentage with a clean pocket. This year is second worst. Mitch Trubisky is the only one who is worse in the NFL with the adjusted completion percentage. So it's just showing you that even when everything is right and the offensive line is holding up, which the O-line isn't as bad this year as people are making it out to be. It's not great, but it's probably somewhere between 15 and 20, probably closer to like the 20 mark. But he's just not getting it done. And I think with the second pick, the Jets are going to decide to move on. But it sucks. It really stinks that they couldn't develop this kid, but they really didn't do him any favors. And at this point, with him going into his 4th year, it's a major, major risk to bet on him figuring it out in year 4. Let's go to some of these comments in the chat. Let's see what we got. My first live stream with Matt sent from 24/7. Yes, thank you. Campbell and Fitzgerald. Let's talk about Campbell or Fitzgerald from Matthew Faria. I am a big fan of both those guys. Matt Campbell, to me, I think should be the Jets' #1 target. I'm also a big Joe Brady fan. I like Arthur Smith a lot too. But I think that Matt Campbell is someone who could come in and be like a program builder. And Fitzgerald supposedly is really interested and will take interviews for NFL jobs. And similar to Campbell, I think he's someone from the college ranks who could come in here and really just get the ship right and just lead. Because the last couple of hires, specifically, they hired Adam Gase to be the coach of the offense, Greg Williams to be the coach of the defense. That was just toxic to begin with. And then you have the Todd Bowles hire, awful game manager. Defense was pretty solid, I'll give him that, but he seems like someone who's just strictly a defensive coordinator. So to me, I think if you get someone who can come in here and be like the executive and oversee everything, that might not be a bad idea. And to me, Campbell and Fitzgerald are very high up on the list of people who I think could do that. Let's see what else. Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. I think I like Zach Wilson as quarterback too. That does not mean I dislike Justin Fields. I would be more than thrilled with either of those two quarterbacks at the second overall pick. My top 4 quarterbacks goes Trevor Lawrence 1, Wilson 2, Fields 3, Lance 4, and I think all 4 of those guys are going to go in the top 15, and I think the top 3 go in the top 5. So realistically, I am fine with any of the top 3 at number 2 overall. And somebody is going to get Trey Lance. I think Lance is probably best suited to sit a year because he's only a 1-year starter. So to learn for maybe half a season behind like a Tyrod Taylor, like what we've seen like from Justin Herbert and Baker Mayfield in their first couple of years, I think that would be the best situation for Lance. But ultimately, I think any of the top 3 guys you could feel comfortable with taking at 2. And if you like Justin Fields as your quarterback too, I think that's a completely reasonable take. I really think that Fields and Wilson are very, very close. So if you prefer Fields over Wilson, again, I personally like Wilson a little bit better, but I see the logic there, and that makes absolute sense. To me, the debate is Fields or Wilson. It's not Sewell or trade back. I think that would be a mistake. You take one of the quarterbacks. I want Campbell so bad. Agree. Hello from Brazil. Love your channel, bro. Hey, Lucas, how's it going? Ty Johnson over 100 yards on the ground, over under. I really hope over. I'm playing him in my daily fantasy lineup today. I think he has a good day. I'm a big fan of him. I would love the Jets to bring him back. I think he could be an RB2 for next year. All players need to file a restraining order against Gase. LOL, love that. I want Joe Brady. Okay, completely understand that. Happy New Year, guys. I see a few Happy New Year in there. No slander on Sam today because if it's his last game with the Jets, let's end on a good note. I understand. Hey, Loyal Media's in here. What's up? Any steals in the draft you like? Ooh, okay. I like that question. Let's do draft steals. I think if you can get, I'll give you in round 2 and 3 a couple players that I like. I think if you get Patrick Jones II, the edge rusher from Pittsburgh, in the second round, that's phenomenal value. I think if you get a wide receiver like Seth Williams in the third round, I think that would also be some great value there. And there's really a lot of good interior offensive line depth. I'm not opposed. Actually, I should say it like this. I like the idea of using the Seattle pick to take an offensive lineman, especially on the interior, but you could get someone like a Deontay Brown in the third round probably. So I think that's some pretty good value and depth there as well. Let's see. Okay, here's one on the Seattle pick. Who do you want? Eric Stokes, quarterback. Wyatt Davis, guard. Basham, Terrence Marshall, wide receiver. Of those listed, Wyatt Davis to me. I think if he's there, I would be extremely, extremely happy with that. I think he's probably going earlier than the Seattle pick because you'd have to imagine they're picking somewhere like, I don't know, 24, 25, 26, somewhere in that range. I would love it if he fell there. I think he is a plug-and-play starter from day one, and to me, the guard is the most important position the Jets have to upgrade. To me, I think the center has come on strong in McGovern. I like Fant. I think he's done a good job. Can you upgrade? I guess, but I wouldn't put that as a huge pressing need to upgrade at right tackle. And left tackle, Mekhi Becton's been a home run of a draft pick. So to me, you got to improve guard. Are you sad about Gase leaving? LOL, not in the slightest. Curious if you think Mac Jones could be drafted by the Patriots, and if you think they would pick him, do you think it would work out? To me, Mac Jones is probably the 5th quarterback for me, followed by Kyle Trask at 6. I think there's a pretty big drop-off from the top 4 to the Mac Jones and Kyle Trask of the world. To me, they're probably more second-round quarterbacks, those two, that will probably end up going in the first round just because there's a lot of quarterback-needy teams. Honestly, I think Jones could potentially work out, but for me, Trask seems like more of a Bill Belichick type of quarterback. He's an extreme pocket passer, does not like to move around a lot. So I think I would see them going the Trask route. Not saying that I would, but I think that's what Bill Belichick would do in that situation. Predictions for today's game. I'm going to say the Jets win 23-16. Sam Darnold will throw for, let's say, about $180, 180 yards, a touchdown, 1 pick. You know what? I'm going to go out on the high note. We've talked about it. I've said it a few times this year. This is the week Denzel Mims gets his first touchdown. Has to. We got to get him a touchdown before the season ends. I would love to see Denzel get the ball. Unfortunately, Sam kind of has soured from him the last couple of weeks. He's been open a couple times and he's missed them. You got to get my plan on offense. Not saying this is what the Jets are going to do, but I would give Ty Johnson a ton of reps, Chris Herndon a ton of reps, and Denzel Mims a ton of reps. I could kind of do without the reps to guys who aren't going to be here next year. Like, I really don't think they're going to bring back Perryman. I didn't really love that to begin with, but ultimately here, I would give as much to Denzel Mims as you can and Ty Johnson and guys like that. Hey, V-Man, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, Matt, what liquor should I choose to celebrate Gase's departure? Vodka, rum, or tequila? By the way, just nagged a vintage Namath jersey with a booze coupon. Love that, dude. Love the Namath vintage. I'm rocking the Corbett jersey today, old school. Of those three, tequila, bad experiences with, not really a rum guy, so I would go vodka personally. You know I'm a whiskey guy, V-Man, but if it were up to me, I'd go with the vodka. But absolutely, Jets fans are going to be celebrating after today. Being free from Adam Gase is huge. I don't think people realize just how big of a deal that's going to be. So I'm so pumped. And V-Man, absolutely, we should be celebrating from there. Fant can be the right tackle for 2021, then draft his replacement. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that for sure. I'm more than confident in him being the right tackle for 2021. I think he's been solid this year. I really do. Wearing Darnold jersey for the last time today, that's sad. And I know a lot of people look at me as a anti-Darnold guy. I personally don't. I was high on him in his first 2 years, and even probably the first maybe 6 games of this year. It's just, it makes more sense from a team building perspective to move on. I like the kid. I wish it worked out. I really, really do. But I am upset that it didn't work out. And it is sad. So I understand wearing the Darnold jersey one more time. Absolutely. Damn, I'm upset about Sam Darnold. It stinks. Let's see what else we got in here. Matt, you want to bet the Jets lose this one? They tend to lose games that we can afford to win. LOL. Probably. That'd be very on brand for the New York Jets, wouldn't it be? All the fans finally, the tank fans and the fans who've been rooting for wins all year, they're rooting for a win in Week 17, then they get their doors blown off. How funny would that be? Thoughts on the Jets doing anything but drafting a quarterback at 2? I personally think it's stupid. 1,000% agree. It's Snoopy. You can't not take a quarterback when you're picking that high. You can't. And I know it didn't work out for the Jets when they were at 3, but the Jets had to trade up to get from 6 to 3 because they played this game in 2017. They thought, okay, maybe I have something in Christian Hackenberg. Laugh out loud. That's hysterical. And passed on taking Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, who were maybe a little bit of a risk. I mean, Watson had the injury, and Patrick Mahomes, same things that are being said about Zach Wilson. I'm not saying Zach Wilson's going to be Patrick Mahomes at the next level, but people are saying, oh, what kind of competition does he play? Everything, it's a big offensive league and stuff like that from where he's coming from in Texas Tech. And they decided to take the safe pick, the safe player, which was Jamal Adams, and now he's not on the team 3 years later, and the Jets are looking to draft a quarterback, partly because they had to give up so many assets to move up to get their guy. So if the Jets pass on a quarterback this year, let's play the game. Let's say they take Penei Sewell, stick with Sam Darnold. It doesn't work out. The Jets go 6-10, 5-11 next year, and they're picking 6th. And now if you want to go up and get your quarterback, you're going to have to give up assets to get back up into the top 3, which you were just in last year, and you decided to take an offensive tackle after taking your generational offensive tackle the year before that. It's just an endless cycle. So, yeah, just take whoever you think is quarterback 2. If you think it's Fields, take him at 2. I'm cool with that. If you think it's Zach Wilson, take him at 2. I trust Joe Douglas to make the right decision, and that's honestly very good because we haven't been able to trust Jets brass in a long time, but I trust Joe Douglas. I think he's doing a good job. Let's see what else we got. Freiermuth in 2nd round. I personally wouldn't take a tight end that early. I know he's a great player. I just think that there are other needs that I would like to address before tight end. I'm okay with running it back with Chris Herndon and a veteran for next year. I think Herndon deserves another chance. But in the first few rounds, I'd be looking to address corner, edge, interior offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver. Tight end's pretty far down on the list of positions that I'd be looking for that early, to be honest with you. I want to see Bryce Hall finish strong. Absolutely. I think he's done a phenomenal job. Really think he's done a great job. Okay, here, Eric Fox got one. What do you think the Adam Schefter report means from earlier? Oh, okay, that's a good question. So I think that he pretty much is just saying the Jets could do – he was pretty much saying the sun came up today. He said the Jets are either going to make a blockbuster trade by moving Sam Darnold or trade out of the number 2 pick. Personally, I think that it's going to be moving on from Sam Darnold. Again, I just think it makes more sense to do that because, again, you start over on the rookie contract. It's not as big of a risk going into year 4. It's a lot of factors that goes into this decision. But I really think that it's going to be the big trade is going to be trading Sam Darnold for a 2nd-round pick. I really still think you get a 2nd-rounder for him. The Patriots were able to trade Matt Castle for a 2nd-round pick. The Jets traded Teddy Bridgewater on one leg for a 3rd-round pick. Josh Rosen, after a terrible rookie year, got a 2nd and a 5th. I think the Jets get a 2nd from, I said the 49ers on Twitter. I think it could be the 49ers. Maybe the Bears, maybe Indianapolis or Pittsburgh. It really all depends on what happens with some of the veteran quarterbacks also. Maybe the Saints would be in on him. But I think I would like to get him to the NFC, get him out of the conference and far away. Is it possible a scenario of us trading up from the Seattle pick? Maybe if you package Sam Darnold and the Seattle pick, you can move up. I personally wouldn't. I think the Jets have a ton of assets in this draft. And I'm okay with just sticking where they are early. So let's just say you have, the 2 firsts, you get a 2nd in the Darnold trade, so 2 seconds and 2 thirds. That's 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. I would just take as many bodies as I can. I'm not saying move back either, but that's a high-end 2nd-round pick. It's going to be a high-end 3rd-round pick. So just stock up on the players, man. Interior offensive line, wide receiver, corner, edge, stock up, get after it. Maybe a running back in the 3rd round. Gainwell, Chuba Hubbard. Maybe if you have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, you can sell me on taking a running back in the 2nd round, like Najee Harris. I'm still anti taking running back in the 1st round, but if you're able to address things in free agency and other positions in the draft, and you have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, then okay, maybe you can sell me at Najee Harris at 33 or 34. It's not my preferred option, but you could sell me on it for sure. Let's see. What coach do you think will revive Darnold? I think he would have to go to Frank Reich would do probably a bang-up job. Kyle Shanahan, I think, could do it. Sean Payton, I think, could do it. It's gonna be a challenge, though. It is, because the footwork and the mechanics are way, way, way off. He has to be put in a really good situation for it to work out. But I don't think the ceiling is as high as what it once was. I don't think it's logical to say that after 3 years. So there's a chance that he could figure it out, but it's very, very risky to bet on that here with the Jets. But if he goes to a great situation and a great coach, maybe you could have a Tannehill situation. But again, it is a risk. I agree with this from Luis. There's literally no chance the Jags don't take Lawrence. I'm with you on that. What would your first draft pick be? I would do Wilson. but I'm okay with Fields. Carr to the Patriots, Darnold to the Raiders. Pats are scary. Darnold's career is revived under Gruden. I don't think John Gruden would be the one to do it. Carr to the Patriots would scare me. I think he could get a lot out of Carr on that one. I think that if I had to guess, I think the 49ers released Jimmy Garoppolo and they have a reunion there because that's who Bill wanted all along. So I know he hasn't been that great in San Francisco, but I think Jimmy G makes his way back to the Patriots and they draft somebody as well in the first or second round. Is there a more recent Adam Schefter tweet about the Jets that I haven't seen? Or is it still the same one that we've been talking about earlier today? Let's see. I'm going to pull it up because, watch, my luck, I'm on here talking like a fool, and there's still more stuff from Adam Schefter. No, it's okay. So it's still the same thing from before. Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. Etienne is better. Again, I think he's going to go in the first round. I don't think the Jets have the luxury of taking a running back in the first round. That's what it is. It's a luxury pick. The Chiefs did it, and it worked out. And I think, if you're taking a running back there, they're a complete team. The Giants taking a running back at 2 is still laugh out loud funny. If you're not a contending team, don't do it. You're going to have to pay a ton of money early, and you can't get as good value. Build the offensive line. That's my plan. Darnold to Washington? Okay, I can maybe see that. Which quarterback head coaching duo would you want to see for the Jets in 2021? Okay, I'll give you 2. The fun one would be Zach Wilson and Joe Brady. The realistic one, I think it could be Justin Fields and Wink Martindale. I think that's probably pretty likely. From V-Man, hey, Matt, why do you think people believe the Jags to be less incompetent than the Jets? Great question. I have no idea. Both teams are very incompetent. The Jets are a big market team, so maybe that's why they get a little bit more of the heat for it, because no one really cares about the Jaguars in Jacksonville. They don't. Understand? Okay, hold on. I don't want to lose my place. I don't understand the goodwill JD has with fans. What grade would you give his free agency in the draft? A-. There's a lot of good players in that draft class. The first 2 picks sound like a home run. Free agency, he struggled with. McGovern, I think, is going to end up being fine. Really, my 2 biggest issues with JD so far has been the James Morgan pick in round 4 and letting Robbie Anderson go and replacing him with Brashad Perryman. To me, I think those are 2 big misses, but I also think he's done a good job of building an infrastructure. Mekhi Becton's a great pick in the first round. Denzel Mims, I think, is going to be a player in the second round. Ashton Davis is still intriguing. Bryce Hall, I think, could absolutely be a starter in this league. Braden Mann looks like he's going to be a capable punter. I don't know. I think Jets fans overrate Braden Mann a little bit, but he's still a decent punter as well. Maybe LaMichael Pirines an RB2 for you. I think it's been a pretty solid draft class. I'm so nervous the huge trade is going to be the second pick. God, I really hope not. If Urban Meyer became the head coach of the Jaguars, they would probably take Justin Fields because Urban Meyer really likes Justin Fields. I would be very surprised if that happened. Hey, Matt, do you think Fields, Wilson, trade down, or other with the first round pick? I would personally take Wilson. I think it's going to be Fields. I'm completely okay with the pick being Fields. Either one of those 2 at 2 makes a ton of sense. Does Zach Wilson, 1 breakout season, 2 shoulder injuries, and his Utah State's not scare you? Yeah, I don't think either one of these prospects are perfect. I personally, the reason why I like Zach Wilson a little bit more than Justin Fields is because I think his release is elite in terms of it being quick. I think he throws a great deep ball. Justin Fields also does that. But his biggest flaw, Zach Wilson's biggest flaw, is sometimes he forces the ball, where Justin Fields' biggest flaw to me is processing and reading the field. And I think that Zach Wilson's biggest flaw is more fixable than processing. That's not to say that Justin Fields isn't going to work out. I think both of those prospects are very, very, very good. Very good. And again, I'd be more than okay with either one of those players as the pick at second overall. Let's see. What quarterback matches with Campbell and Fitzgerald? It's tough to say. It really is. I don't necessarily think that there is one that jumps out a whole bunch right now. Maybe their new uniforms are making them lose. The green helmets suck. I don't mind the new uniforms. I really don't. I know a lot of people have soured on them. I think they're okay, especially the black ones. The green with the white pants, I like. The white on the white, I like. The white with anything with the green pants, I don't like. White on green, gross. Green on green, disgusting. Give me the blacks. Give me the green on white or the white on white. Man is the GOAT. I don't know about that. He's decent. You excited to see Ty Johnson as the running back RB1 today? Absolutely. Hell yeah. What are your thoughts on bringing back Brian Poole? I would do it. I think he's been very, very good. Ooh, this is a hot take from Just Will. I'm going to be honest, Matt. I always thought Fields was a better fit than Lawrence. I would be interested in to know why. I personally think that Lawrence is the closest thing to a can't miss prospect. I think Fields is a very, very good prospect, but curious to see why you think it's the better fit. What do you want the Jets to do with their second first-round pick? Interior offensive line. Vera Tucker from USC, Wyatt Davis, maybe Creed Humphrey, a player like that, I think. Hey, Matt, do you think Ty Johnson can have a breakout year next year? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be the number one running back. I think he'll be a more than capable second running back on this team. If it were up to me, I would sign a player like Jamal Williams in free agency on the relatively cheap side, run with Ty Johnson and LaMichael P. Ryan as my three-headed running back trio. What did you think of Justin Herbert out of college? He was probably my third quarterback in that draft class. Burrow, Tua, Herbert. I thought he was fine. I thought he was worthy of a top 10 pick. I definitely didn't see this kind of success early on. But it goes to show you that sometimes it's not always the number one quarterback who's taken, or Tua, who's a number two quarterback right now. He doesn't look to be at the same level as Herbert or Burrow. That can all change. It's only been 1 year, not even a full year of starting for those guys. But the interesting point. If Darnold goes to the Pats and destroys, I would be so pissed. I would be stunned if he goes to the Patriots. I don't think you'd trade him in division. We made it, Matt. It's the brightest Sunday before Black Monday. Now you get to watch JD work. Amen. Let JD hire the coach, please. Justin Fields' worst game was when 22 of his teammates were out. Justin Fields' best game was against Clemson D. That holds team to 17 points per game. That's a great sign to be excited about him. I understand. Again, if you like him as your quarterback too, I have no issue with that. If you have Zach Wilson as your quarterback too, I also have no issue with that. I'm more than okay with either one of those players second overall. Urban Myers may surprise us. Any reservations on Lawrence? No, I still think Lawrence is the number one pick, even on his bad game. I don't think he played bad. He still had over 300 passing yards. It's just you had a tremendous performance from Justin Fields. So, let's see. Eli Manning was with the Giants how long? While fans screamed for his release, Phil Simms went kind of the same thing. Give Sam Darnold a shot. Oh, boy. Trade Sam's to the Bears for a pick and a quarterback. What quarterback on the Bears do you want? Number one coaching option, I would say probably at this point, is Matt Campbell, followed pretty closely by guys like Joe Brady, Arthur Smith, Brian Daboll. Those guys are fairly high on my list. Thoughts on Dan Mullen on coaching list? No, I don't think that would be a good transition. Jets Hub, I thought I answered that with Zach Wilson. It's not really one breakout year. I think he put up some good numbers last year, and the injuries, if his arm strength wasn't there, it would scare me a little bit more. But neither Fields or Wilson is a perfect prospect. They each have their quote-unquote flaws. They are still top 5 prospect worthy, though, in my eyes. Wink, I could definitely see the pick being Wink Martindale. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to it. I'd have to see what the offensive staff would be with Wink Martindale. Do you think that Lawrence and Fields could have a great quarterback duel next year since we were projected to play the Jaguars? Ooh, from Prestige Shogun. I like that. Absolutely. I think that would absolutely be the case. Like, those guys have done it in college. How cool would that be to see them do it in the NFL? Sure, why not? Thoughts on Frank Bush in the upcoming season? Do you think they keep him? No, I think they pretty much wipe the entire slate clean, and I'm completely okay with that. Frank Bush hasn't really. He was the defensive coordinator of the Texans in 2010. Not a great defense. The Jets have played strong the last 2 weeks, but let's not forget this was the same defensive coordinator of the team when they got their doors blown off by Seattle and couldn't stop anybody. So I think we're looking at too small of a sample size. Super chat from V-Man. Thank you, V-Man. Hey, what would Justin Field NYC nickname be? Someone on the chat on Jets Talk 24/7, some people said City Field, Fields of Dreams. I think those are probably the two that jump out. I'm not really good. Oh, MetLife Fields. That's what someone says. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Urban Myers and Justin Fields. I don't think Urban Meyer comes here. I really don't think the Jets end up getting him. Okay, here's one. Who would you rather pick with our second round pick? Najee Harris or Kadarius Toney? Harris. I think he's the better player. Do you bring back Frank Gore so he can break Walter? Come on. No. No Frank Gore. Please. Is Daniel Jones a quarterback of the future for the Giants? The Giants should take a quarterback. They won't. They'll run it back for a third year with Daniel Jones. Agree or disagree, the Jets need to avoid a second-chance coach like Doug Peterson and Jim Harbaugh. Agreed. Doug Peterson's going to stay. Thank God. I think that would be a mistake if the Jets hired him, and I can't stand Jim Harbaugh. What's up, Matt? Matt Curtis is in the chat. Belichick will be the Jets head coach next year. Interesting. Justin the Jet from Prestige Shogun. That would be a pretty good nickname. I like it. Let's see what else. If we got any other questions in the chat. Broadway M says no running back with Seattle pick or Jets second rounder, please. I get that. I really do. Yes, please smash that like button. Christopher says 250 people watching. Smash the like button, guys. Only 46 likes. Let's get those likes up. Number 9. Who's the person number 19 on the wall? Keyshawn Johnson, the Jets' first overall pick from 96, I believe. 96 or 96, I believe. Jim Harbaugh is extended through 2026. Don't worry, Matt. Yes, I think I might be the most excited person about that. Who do you think will fall in the draft? Ooh. Interesting. I think Trey Lance falls farther than he should. I think he should be a top 10 pick, but I think he is taken somewhere between 10 and 15. I also think that who else could fall? What do you consider a fall, too? Maybe Jalen Waddle because of his injury. I also think he should be someone who's taken pretty high. Urban to Jacksonville means Fields at first. Connection? I really don't think so. I would be stunned. Percentage chance of Matt Campbell or Joe Brady becoming the new head coach? I think both are probably on the smaller side. I would think the favorite is Don Martindale. I think Campbell stays. And I'd be surprised if the Jets went the young route. I think they want to go something a little bit more safe, and Don Martindale seems to be a little bit more safe. What would you grade Sam Darnold's 3 years so far on a scale from 1 to 10? A 3 or a 4, maybe. There were some bright spots, but overall, if you told me in 2018, or you told any Jets fan in 2018 that in year 3, Sam Darnold would have 9 touchdown passes on a season, I think they'd be fairly upset. I'm rooting for the Seahawks to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Hell yeah, we all should be. We're all anti-Seahawks fans, too. Thoughts on Dable not being listed as one of the coaches they were going to interview? I don't read too much stock into that. I think it's going to be a very extensive search, so I think that eventually goes up. Let's see what else we got. Will Penei Sewell bust after missing a whole year? No, I don't think so. I'm not anti-Penei Sewell as a prospect. I just don't think it makes sense for the Jets. I think he'll be a very good player in this league. Should we address tight end in the offseason? If so, should we draft or do in free agency? I would say I'm okay with running Chris Herndon back, maybe bring in a veteran in free agency on the lower cost size. Are there sources that say Martindale's possibly the favorite? I have heard this from Connor Rogers has said it on Badlands, and the connection just makes sense because of Joe Douglas's time with the Ravens. So that's kind of where I'm getting that from. Do you think Bryce Hall could be a cornerback 1? Maybe. I think more than likely a cornerback 2 for Bryce Hall, which is more than fine. If you get in that, what did they take him, the 4th or the 5th round? That's great. I thought he had a 3rd round kind of a player. I think he'd be a great cornerback 2, honestly. When can we expect the new head coach to be announced? I'll say mid-January. I think Gase was January 9th. I think it'll be about 2 weeks. What do you think happens with Mosley and that contract? I think he comes back and they just ride it out for at least another year. From Jets Hub, how would you like the coaching staff of Martindale head coach, Tony Elliott, OC, and assistant head coach? I think that would be very intriguing. Martindale, to me, seems like someone who could be the one who oversees everything. But, again, you got to bring in a really good staff. And an offensive coordinator like Tony Elliott, I think, would be extremely intriguing. He's done really good work at Clemson, and I think he's due for a jump to the NFL. So I would be on board with that. I'd be confident with it. We need a veteran cornerback. All of ours are rookies. I'm interested in bringing in a Rasul Douglas or a Ronald Darby type of player. There's not a ton of big free agent corners that I think are good. But one of those guys who aren't going to cost you a ton, I think are interesting upside guys. And Douglas had both of those guys in Philly. You think we should trade for Gilmore or no? I would say no. I'm not willing to give up the assets that it would probably need to take. Thought on Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach? Oh, my God. No, please. Please, no. Please, no. Trade up with the Seattle pick and Darnold to get Surtain or Edge. Ooh, I would love Surtain. I think he's a lock to be a good corner in this league. Is Joe Brady too young to be our head coach? No, he was hired at around the same age as Sean McVay. I think he really gives me Sean McVay vibes. I know people get compared, they want the next Sean McVay. This kid, I think, is going to be really good. So I don't think he's too young. Do you take O-line at our second round 1 pick if we go quarterback at 2? Yes, I would like offensive guard to be the pick. Do you think Matt Rule would tell Joe Brady not to take the Jets head coaching position if he was interviewed? I don't necessarily buy that. Maybe he would, but man, I'm still upset. The Jets really ruined that with Matt Rule. I think that would have been a great option. But I don't think so. There's only so many head coaching positions in the NFL. So if he gets offered the job, I think he'll tell him to go take it. Sherman is too old. Agree. How about Salah? I don't think he comes here. I really think he's going to Detroit. Let's see. What else do we got? What do you think, Tyson Campbell? I think he goes. Yeah, I think he's probably someone who could go towards the end of the first round. Maybe if he's there at the Seattle pick. Day to Jacksonville backup plan if Meyer falls through. I don't think Day is coming out. Adam Schefter said, I'm pretty sure it was Schefter or Ian Rappaport said that he's going to stay where he is. Do you think Robbie Anderson comes back next free agency? I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. I think he extends in Carolina. If we pick Fields at 27, take Sermon Olave or Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis. I value guard a lot more than I value wide receiver. Do you have any shot at landing Bieniemy? I would say he's going to Houston or Atlanta. Darnold throws for 200 yards today. I'm going to say no. Do you think we win today? I'm going to say yes, 23-16. Do Do you think Russell Wilson is a little too overrated? No, I think he's properly rated. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league for sure. Wyatt Davis, guard, Ohio State at the Seattle pick. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I think that'd be phenomenal. I'm going to take a couple more and then hop off before this. How soon after the game do you think Gase is fired? I'm going to say this evening we get something, maybe around 5 o'clock. 6. Let's say the game ends at 4:10. He'll do the post-game stuff, say around 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's where it comes out. Where do you rank the Jets wide receiver core this season? It's got to be on the low half, but it's low 28th in the league, somewhere around there. What receivers do you like in the second round if you get a quarterback and a guard in the first? I would wait. I would wait to take Seth Williams in the third round. I would look to address, I think, edge and corner in the second. Najee Harris, third pick, maybe. I'd probably go Patrick Jones or a corner in that spot, but you can maybe sell me on doing that as well. Will anybody from the coaching staff be here next year? I would say the only one who has a chance is Brant Boyer, the special teams coach. I think he's done a good job. Maybe they bring back like a Hines Ward, but I would say Boyer probably has the best chance, if anyone. Do I want the Jets to sign a wide receiver in free agency? Absolutely. I would say Allen Robinson's the dream. I would also sign up for Galladay and so on and so forth. V-Man with the super chat. Favorite female vocalist, Matt? Mine's Janis Joplin. Mine is... that's a really tough question. There's a lot of good ones. I'm a big all-time, probably Dolly Parton. More recent, Casey Musgraves. Okay, a couple more in here. Why do we seem to be the only team for years now that every year we are rebuilding? Terrible decisions. That's why. Terrible decisions. Godwin. Yes, I forgot Godwin. Excuse me. Godwin would absolutely be someone who would be on my list as well. Let me get a couple more in here. Sermon from Ohio State. I'm not opposed to taking him in the later rounds. Sure, why not? He's hot. I'm high on him. I like Chuba Hubbard as well. Can Joe Douglas recruit David Shaw from Stanford for the next head coach? I would be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if he does. I think he's going to either stay out there or on the West Coast. Hot take. Giants will be the worst team in the NFL and trade Saquon Barkley next year. I honestly don't see that as a very hot take. I think that I'm on par with you. I think they should trade Saquon Barkley. If the Jets have Crowder, Mims, and Chase as their wide receiver core next season, what would you rank it? Middle of the pack, probably. Greetings from Germany. Hey, Robo Rob. What do you think of the Dan Mullen rumors? I would be very upset if that was the hire. I don't like that at all. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Let's see what this next question I get in here is, and then I'm going to hop off and get ready for this game. Let's make it a good one. Come on, chat. What's up? It's not going to be what's up. Okay, here we go. I would not spend big money on high-priced wide receivers in free agency. There's too many good wide receivers in the draft that you can get on the cheap in the third and fourth round. I would not be opposed to drafting a wide receiver in the third round to be like your wide receiver 4, like Seth Williams. But I do think that it would be important to sign a wide receiver in free agency so that you can make life as easy as possible for your next quarterback. So that's going to do it for me. I expect to do 2 videos later today because I really think that, one, I'm going to do the post-game reaction as always, but then I think I'll be doing an Adam Gase fire video because I think we get the news today. If not, that'll come tomorrow. So a lot to be excited about. Thanks for sticking with me. It's been a lot of fun talking with you guys, and I'm Matt O'Leary. Catch you after the game.